Betty walks through the market. Many old things are there. Old tables hold old items. Betty feels calm and curious. She likes looking at old things. Betty stops at a table. It is very crowded. Her eyes see a small box. The box is dark wood. She feels intrigued by it. Betty picks up the box. She holds it in her hands. She looks at its old wood. Betty decides to buy the box. She feels pleased with her find. Betty is in her living room. Her home is simple and calm. She walks to a small table. Betty places the music box there. The room feels peaceful. Betty looks at the box. She sees the small key. She turns the key slowly. It makes a soft clicking sound. Betty waits for something to happen. A slow song begins. The music is very simple. The box lid moves. It opens by itself. The moment feels eerie but gentle. A doll spins inside. It is the Porcelain Dancer. The doll spins slowly. Betty watches the doll. She has a small, charmed smile. It is late at night now. Betty sits on her sofa. She reads a book quietly. The house is very quiet. The music box sits on the table. Betty looks at the table. The music box is closed. The doll is not inside. It is completely gone. Betty feels very confused. Betty looks down. The doll is on the floor. It is below the table. Betty is very surprised. She feels uneasy about it. Betty picks up the small doll. Her hands feel a little shaky. She puts the doll back in the box. She closes the lid firmly. Betty feels very worried. It is morning now. Betty is in her kitchen. She makes a cup of tea. She looks around the room. Betty feels very nervous. Betty walks to the living room. She stops at the door. The doll is on a chair. It is on the other side of the room. Betty feels very scared. Look closely at the doll's face. Its red smile looks wider now. Its black eyes look straight ahead. They seem to watch Betty. It feels very unsettling. Betty quickly moves to the doll. She grabs the doll and the box. She opens a black garbage bag. She puts them inside the bag. She wants them to be gone. Betty takes the bag outside. She walks to the big trash can. She lifts the bag high. She throws it inside. Betty feels a little relief. It is night now. Betty is in her bed. The room is very dark. Her eyes are wide open. She feels very anxious. Betty hears a sound. It is a soft, slow song. It is the music box melody. The sound comes from downstairs. Betty feels very terrified. Betty looks at her bedroom door. The door is open now. The small doll stands there. It is the Porcelain Dancer. Betty feels extreme fear. The doll moves its foot. It takes one tiny step. A soft scraping sound is heard. The doll steps into the room. Then the screen goes black.
Si te gustó el video, pon me gusta, suscríbete y activa la campanita para ver más historias.